A beef importer picked up the phone and called his own customers with two versions of the exact same message. The meat was identical. The price was identical. One version sold 6 times more than the other. This wasn't an accident, and it wasn't a one-off sales pitch either. It was set up deliberately as a test to see whether wording alone, with nothing else about the transaction changed, could move real purchasing behavior inside a working supply chain. Salespeople working for the importer were testing 2 different phone scripts on regular customers, restaurants and butcher shops that bought wholesale, week after week, from the same supplier. The first version was simple. There's going to be less beef coming through over the next few weeks because of supply problems. The second version said the exact same thing, word for word, but ended with one extra sentence. And you're the only one who knows this. This is exclusive information. The underlying fact, less beef in the pipeline, was identical in both versions. The price quoted was identical. The product on offer was identical. The second version, with just one added sentence about the exclusivity of the information itself, sold 6 times more meat than the first. If that number surprised you, hit like. This gets better. What worked here is double scarcity. Layer 1. The actual product is about to get harder to find. Layer 2. The knowledge of that shortage is rare too, and it's being handed to you and only you. Your brain reacts to both layers separately and then multiplies the effect instead of simply adding it. You're not just getting access to a scarce product, you're also getting the feeling that you know something other people don't, and that feeling of being on the inside is a reward all by itself, completely separate from how much beef you actually end up buying. Psychologists sometimes call this the exclusivity-of-information effect, and it rides on the same wiring as plain old scarcity, just aimed at a different target. Not the object, but the knowledge about the object. You've seen this exact trick everywhere else, usually dressed up differently. An email that opens with, "You won't find this offer anywhere else. We're only sending it to a small group of subscribers." A text from a friend that starts with, "Don't tell anyone, but I heard." A group chat where someone drops a stock tip, worded like you're one of 5 people who got it before it goes public. A countdown timer paired with the line, "You're seeing this because you were one of the first ones in." The actual content behind any of these can be completely ordinary. It's the feeling of exclusivity, that you're inside a small circle of people who know, that does all the work and makes you treat the information far more seriously than it actually deserves. Businesses build this in on purpose because it's cheap and it works. A VIP early access email isn't really about the 10% discount. It's about making you feel chosen before anyone else was. A private group pitched as invite only isn't more valuable because of what's inside it. It's valuable because of who isn't inside it. A headline that says a story was obtained exclusively is applying the exact same lever to a piece of news instead of a product. None of these change the actual value of what's being offered underneath. They only change how special the information around it feels. And that feeling alone is enough to move behavior, independent of the offer itself. You see a rougher version of the same lever in outright scams too. Investment fraud rarely opens with, "Give me your money." It opens with, "I'm only telling you this because I trust you," followed by a tip that supposedly nobody else has. Strip away the con, and the mechanic underneath is identical to the phone call about beef. The offer barely has to be good, because the sense of being personally, privately chosen is already doing most of the persuading before a single fact gets checked. Here's the uncomfortable part. This trick works even when you logically know that exclusive information, phoned in to thousands of customers, can't possibly be that exclusive. The salespeople in this story were calling dozens of different butcher shops and restaurants, one after another, with that exact same sentence about exclusivity. Every single customer on that list heard the words, "You're the only one who knows this." Not one of them was actually the only recipient. Most of them, if they'd compared notes, would have found out everyone else on the block got the identical phone call, and yet the mechanism still worked on each of them individually, as if each one really was the one person let in on the secret. The same pattern shows up in office gossip, in chain messages, in leaked memos that somehow reach half the building by lunchtime. Everyone treats the information as privileged, right up until they notice how many other people are treating it exactly the same way. There's one question worth asking yourself every time someone hands you exclusive information. Am I actually the only person hearing this, or did someone just tell me that I am? Exclusivity that someone assigns to you with words is not the same thing as actual exclusivity, and your brain, unfortunately, rarely makes that distinction before it's already gotten excited. Here's a sharper version of that same test. Would you still want this offer, this tip, this insider news, if it came with no mention of who else does or doesn't have it? If yes, the thing itself was probably worth wanting on its own. If no, what you actually wanted wasn't the information at all. It was the feeling of being one of the few people trusted with it. That one distinction is worth carrying into the next just for you email, the next don't tell anyone message, and the next phone call that ends with, and you're the only one who knows this. Next video, why the exact same man saying the exact same words got twice as many phone numbers when he was carrying something different in his hand. If you don't want to miss it, or if this story got you thinking, subscribe to my channel so you get notified about the new video. See you there.